Okay, so hey guys, so today's video is going to be answering the question, are NIRF B school rankings credible, right? So ever since the NIRF rankings, that is the government rankings for colleges in India, so ever since these rankings came out, there are many people asking whether this ranking is credible or this ranking can be, relied upon for choosing the best B school for yourself, right? So right now, all of you are studying for CAT, but once you finish CAT, or many of you who have already written CAT last year, might will look for a good B school to join, right? So say you got a few calls and you get a few admits, you have to make a decision as to which B school to join, right? And it's a natural thought process where people go towards the government rankings because they think the government rankings is the most credible. But in recent days, the NIRF rankings have been getting a lot of flake or a lot of negative comments from many people online, right? By saying that they're not accurate or they do not provide an actual picture of the best B schools in India. So today we will discuss, what the criteria are, what are the weightage of each criteria, and whether NIRF rankings can be relied upon for you to make the right decisions, right? Okay, so let's start off with the presentation. Okay, so you can see the home screen over here. Are NIRF rankings or are NIRF B school rankings credible? Okay, so now let's go to the next slide. Okay, so what are the parameters and metrics based on which NIRF rankings ranks the B schools in India, right? So there are five metrics or parameters based on which they rank B schools, right? The first one is teaching, learning and resources. The second one is research productivity, impact and IPR, that's intellectual property. Third one is graduation outcome. Fourth is outreach and inclusivity. Fifth is perception. Okay, so one thing I should mention over here is when you are looking at a college or when you are looking for a B school to join, right? All these parameters mentioned here might not be your top priority, right? For many people who want to join a B school, right, the average salary or the median salary or the quality of research or the perception of the B school might play a major role in getting in, right? Or and small factors such as outreach and inclusivity might play a very small role, or might not play a role at all in your decision making to join a B school, right? So in this video we will see why NIRF rankings are the way they are, and what is the best parameters by which you can make a decision. Okay, so we'll go to the next slide. Fine. So teaching, learning and resources, right? So teaching, learning and resources is one of the parameters, and under this parameter there are four sub parameters, right? So each parameter has sub parameters, right? And the parameter teaching, learning and resources has a weightage of 30% in rankings, right? So if many of you have studied averages and weights, you'll realize that 30% is a relatively huge chunk when there are five parameters. Okay, so the sub parameters of teaching, learning and resources are student strength including PhD students, right? Faculty student ratio with emphasis on permanent faculty, combined metric for faculty with PhD or equivalent and experience, financial resources and their utilization. Okay, so when you look at these sub parameters, right, I'm pretty sure that a person going for an MBA, like a regular MBA program or a PGP program, would not worry too much about these parameters while looking into a B school, right? So student strength including PhD students is not something that a normal person joining an MBA would care about. A faculty student ratio is something which people worry about, but that is not one of some of the top priorities. It's always the second, third or max fourth priority, right? So you can realize that teaching, learning and resources have a 30% weightage, but majority, like out of these four, only one of the sub parameters have like a certain weightage or priority for the normal students joining a B school. Now let's move on to the next parameter. Okay, Now the next parameter is research, productivity, impact, and IPR. Okay, so the ranking of this parameter, or the weightage of this parameter, is again 30%. So I would like to disclose over here that the teaching, learning, and resource, and the ranking, productivity, impact, and IPR, these two parameters have the highest weightage, right? Each have 30% and they have the highest weightage. Okay, so now let's look into the sub parameters of this parameter. Combined metrics for publication, right? So this parameter is fully based on research publication. So I will explain to you the impact of this on the final NIRF rankings when we go to it. So it's combined metric for publications, combined metric for quality of publications, footprint of projects, professionals practice, and executive development programs, right? So when you see this, you will realize that if you're a normal MBA or a PGP students, research or productivity, impact, and IPR would not affect your decisions too much. But for certain people who are going for fellowship programs or PhDs, this will play a major role in their decision making, right? But if you're a normal MBA student, it won't matter that much. Let's look at the next parameter. Yeah. So now we are coming to the main parameter, right? So if you are a student who is writing CAT to join a PGP program, you will always be, focusing on what the placements of the colleges, right? What the median salary is, and so this parameter, takes all that into account, right? So arguably, or if I can say, according to my opinion, for students who are joining PGP programs, this is the most important parameter. Okay, so I want you to keep this in mind. So you can see the parameters here, the combined sub parameters here, the combined metric for placements and higher studies, metrics for university examinations, and median salary. Okay, so these play a very important role for students joining the normal PGP program. But the important thing to keep in mind is the ranking weightage is only 20%, right? So the research and impact parameter has more weightage than the graduation outcome. Okay, so that is one very important thing to keep in mind, and this is one of the reasons why certain people criticize the NIRF rankings as being inaccurate. Okay, but it is not inaccurate, it gives more weightage to research. Now let's go to the next parameter, outreach and inclusivity. Okay, so this is a parameter that, in my opinion, will have very less weightage, or will have, people will not worry too much about this parameter while joining a B school, right? So when you have an admit in hand, you will not think about this parameter. So that's why it has a less weightage in the rankings, which is 10%. Okay, so again, let me read the sub parameters. Percentage of students from other states, percentage of women. So again, women diversity will affect the rankings of the B schools. Percentage of economically and socially disadvantaged students, and facilities for differently abled persons, right? So these sub parameters and this parameter in specific is to provide diversity, or is to account for diversity in a batch, right? So B schools are judged based on the diversity they have, and this is one very important thing to keep in mind. Also, facilities for differently abled persons provides inclusivity, right? So the NIRF rankings want to know whether you are providing adequate resources or infrastructure, or help for the physically disabled people or the differently abled people. Now let's move on to the next parameter, perception. Okay, so this is where this is the last parameter, and this is the parameter that many people pay attention to. Okay, so what is perception? So perception means peer perception, which is employees and academic peers, right? So for example, the NIRF every year releases a survey which is answered by many students, and based on the peer-to-peer ratings, they come up with a list of rankings based on perception, right? And so this list of rankings they come up with, or the order in which the perceptions fall, have a 10% weightage on the final or overall ranking. Okay, So this is one very important thing to keep in mind. So from this video, so from this until now, what you've realized is the two most important parameters for a PGP student joining an MBA is the graduation outcome, which takes into account the median salary and the placement, and also the perception of the college, right? So perception of the college will give you an idea about the quality of students studying there. Okay, so now let's go on to the overall rankings. Okay, so overall rankings for 2019, right? So I've taken the overall rankings for 2019 because the parameters that I've described till now are for 2019, right? The document for judging the 2020 parameters are not yet released, or I could not find them, so I'm telling you for 2019. Okay, so let's see the overall rankings for 2019. So the first one is IIMB, and IIMA, IIMC, IIM Lucknow, IIM Indore. And then the sixth position, you see IIT Kharagpur. Okay, so many people who are doing MBA or have talked to friends will wonder why IIT Kharagpur is there. Okay, so IIT Kharagpur is there because IIT Kharagpur has a high research output. Okay, that means they are scored very high for research and impact. And like if you go back to the section where we discussed the parameter of research, it has a very high weightage of 30%. So this is where IIT Kharagpur ranks above the rest of the top B schools in the overall ranking. Okay, so that is one very important thing to understand, like why IIT Kharagpur is in the top 10. The next college you should look at is IIT Delhi DMS. Okay, so again IIT Delhi DMS is in the top 10 because of research. Okay, so both IIT Delhi and IIT Kharagpur are in the top 10 because of research. That is one very important thing to understand. And the rest of them, as any normal MBA aspirant knows, are already top B schools. Okay, so now let's go to the next slide. Okay, now comes the important part. Why a few top colleges didn't make it to the top 10 list. Okay, so any normal B school aspirant or an MBA aspirant will know that these three colleges, SP Jain, NITI Bombay and FMS Delhi, are top B schools. But the argument used to criticize the NIRF rankings every year is that the NIRF rankings are biased and they do not have colleges like SP Jain or FMS, right? In specific, FMS is not included in the top 10, and this is why people dismiss the NIRF rankings usually. Okay, so now let's see why they are not included in the top 10 rankings. Okay, so SP Jain is not included because it has a low RPC, or a low research and productivity and impact factor. Okay, so as I've already told you, RPC has, or a research has a very high weightage, and SP Jain has less marks for research. So SP Jain does not figure in the top 10, right? The second one is NITI Bombay, right? So NITI Bombay has a low marks for teaching, learning, and a low perception. Okay, so why does NITI Bombay have a low perception? So NITI Bombay has low perception because not many people know about the school, right? So any B school aspirant you ask will tell you that NITI Bombay is good for operations and supply chain, right? And it's only for engineers. But at the same time, many non-engineers or the common B school aspirants will not be able to apply to the college, and so they don't have a very good perception of the college. So this is one of the reasons why in the survey released for perceptions, NITI Bombay has got a lesser rank, and teaching, learning and resources, they have less. For that I can't explain why. Okay, so now coming to the best college, right? FMS. So FMS, you ask any person, he'll tell you FMS is the college with the best ROI in India. It has the best salaries, medium placements, right? It's very high. It's up there. Like after IIM ABC, FMS is the top B school. Then why is FMS not there in the top 10 rankings of the NIRF B school ranking? FMS Delhi is not there because it has a very low RPC, right? Or it has very low marks for research, and this affects the rankings. Okay, but one thing to keep in mind is FMS has a very, very high graduation outcome, right? So if you go back, you will see that graduation outcome. Let me just go back. Okay, so you will see that graduation outcome takes into account the median salary, the combined metric for placements, and the metrics for university examinations, right? So as you see, the graduation outcome, that means the placements etc are very high. Okay, but since the RPC or research is low, FMS is ranked very low in the NIRF rankings. Okay, now coming to the point, what are the two parameters that you should be focusing on in the NIRF rankings? So you should be focusing on the graduation outcome, which takes into account the median salaries and the placements, and you should focus on perception. Okay, so basically when you look at graduation outcome, and if you rank the colleges only by graduation outcome, FMS will figure in the top 10, SPJN will figure in the top 10. Okay, IIT Kharagpur will no longer be in the top 10, and IIT Delhi also will no longer be in the top 10. Okay, and if you judge the colleges based on perception, again the top 10 rankings will exclude IIT Kharagpur and IIT Delhi. Okay, so I hope this video has helped you realize how to make decisions, right? And I hope this video has explained to you why NIRF rankings are the way they are and whether it's credible or not. My final conclusion would be that NIRF rankings are credible, but you should be able to judge the colleges based on the marks for parameters that matter to you, right? And the parameters that matter to any average B school aspirant is the median salary and the perception, right? Because the median salary tells them the career prospects after graduating, and the perception tells them the quality of students that are going into the college. Fine. So this is Yugesh signing off, and I hope this was a very helpful program. So another thing I would like to say is I'm starting a mentorship program, right? Me and a few of my friends are starting a mentorship program. We have 15 students in the mentorship program, and all of them are have given us good feedback. So if you are interested in joining this mentorship program, I'll give you the link to the WhatsApp group and Telegram group in the description below. Make sure you join it. Also, don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Okay. So subscribe, like the video, and if you're interested, do ping us on the WhatsApp group. Okay. So thank you, and have a nice day.